If you can hear music faintly in the background, I think that's my neighbor just banging out the tunes. Okay, well, we have a soundtrack, I guess, if you can hear that. If not, thank God. Okay, so, hey, I'm Shannon. I am very new to BookTube. I am not just new to BookTube, I am very new to reading in general. I'm actually filming this video after the next 2 videos that you're gonna be getting from me. So if in the next couple videos, oh God, there's the AC again. I won't turn her off though, because I value my comfort. So I'm so sorry if that just turns on and off. Forgive me. But if I say anything in any of the next 2 videos that directly contradicts what I'm saying here, ignore future me. She didn't know what she was talking about. I don't even know what I would contradict, but hey, let me cover my bases here. It's already bad enough that I'm like, hey, I've read 3 books in my life. Welcome me with open arms, BookTube. Also, I'm realizing my makeup looks kind of weird on camera, but oh well. And just like that, it's off. Inconsistent. Anyways, so since I'm somebody who's very new to BookTube, and not just new to BookTube, but new to reading in general, what I'm going to be doing is, instead of doing like a monthly TBR and a monthly wrap up, I'm going to do it by season. I might change this in the future if it seems like it's something that's more doable for me. But for now, I feel like seasonal is good enough. And the reason that I'm putting this video right here instead of after the 2 videos I've already filmed is because I want to do a spring TBR, but I forgot that spring started yesterday. So I feel like now I'm shuffling things around to try to make sure that I'm getting this out there on time, you know? And what's fun about my TBRs is that since, again, hi, I'm Shannon, new to BookTube, new to reading. If you've seen my previous video, then you'll kind of understand why it is that I am the way I am. So when I start telling you about how my TBR is full of books that I don't know what they're about, you might be a little confused, but most, if not all of the books that I read are books that are recommended to me while I'm on my journey to discover what my tastes are, what my favorite genres are, you know, little things like that, which is very fun, very exciting, a little nerve-wracking because I never know what I'm gonna get. Although here and there I do have a decent idea of what I'm about to be reading about. The last book that I read in the winter was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And I was like, yep, we're going to be under the sea doing stuff with or around fish. And I was right. So I'm just going to kind of start listing the books that I am hoping that I'm able to read over the next April, May, and then half of June. And yeah, I'm just going to get into it because I don't know what else I'm supposed to say about these books. But the first one here is actually The Handmaid's Tale, which everybody seems to know about. There's a TV show. Oh, look, on Hulu, coming soon. Wow. Everybody brace yourselves. I know it's already out there. I actually only vaguely knew what this was about. I knew it was about like dystopian, women don't belong to themselves, fucked up nonsense. But I actually haven't even read the back of this. So I'm just going to read it here for everybody who doesn't know, everybody probably knows. So I don't know why I'm saying that. I want to cover my bases. Maybe there's another me out there who's also like, hey, I don't know. So I'm going to read the synopses on all of these books just to share the things I'm putting in my brain. Offred is a handmaid in the Republic of Gilead. Gilead? She may leave the home of the commander and his wife once a day to walk to food markets whose signs are now pictures instead of words because women are no longer allowed to read. She must lie on her back once a month and pray that the commander makes her pregnant because in an age of declining births, Offred and the other handmaids are valued only if their ovaries are viable. Offred can remember the years before when she lived and made love with her husband Luke, when she played with and protected her daughter, when she had a job, money of her own, and access to knowledge. But all of that is gone now. Yeah, that's about what I expected this to be. I did start reading this a couple nights ago. It's a lot easier to read than I was expecting. I actually attempted to read this like 10 years ago, but after the first like 4 pages, my brain couldn't process the words, so I stopped. I'm telling ya, life has changed, baby. So this is what I'm going to be reading this week. I actually have this book and my next book I think are due at the library this week, so I need to read them soon because there's something about having to renew a library book that stresses me out. Like if I can't read this in the allotted 3 weeks you've already given me, why did I get it? I also am getting a little trigger happy when it comes to putting holds on books at the library because now I know how to use the library since I have a library card for the first time since I was 7 and they were trying to get me to use it. So it's just really exciting to me, and I keep putting way too much on hold at the library. I need to slow down for sure, so I'll get a hold of myself eventually, but this is a little library book that I got. I would say 98% of the things that I am reading are library books, just because, hey, it's a novelty that I am only just discovering. The next thing on my TBR is another library book, and this is something that has been on my to-read list for about 10 years now. It is just Kurt Vonnegut, Cat's Cradle. I don't know what it's about, so hey, let's learn together. Let's see. No? Is this a summary? Where's the summary? Is the summary on the inside? Maybe it doesn't say. Huh, well, I mean, this little blue box says, Cat's Cradle is Kurt Vonnegut's satirical commentary, on modern man and his madness. Listen, I don't know what these summaries are supposed to look like. I'm used to the of 3 things I was absolutely certain on the back of Twilight, so my bad. An apocalyptic tale of this planet's ultimate fate. It features a midget as the protagonist, a complete original theology created by a calypso singer, and a vision of the future that is at once blackly fatalistic and hilariously funny. A book that left an indelible mark on an entire generation of readers. Cat's Cradle is one of the 20th century's most important works, and Vonnegut at his very best. I'm pretty sure I've read Kurt Vonnegut before. I don't remember what his other book is called. That's good. Slaughterhouse 5, is that him? I read that one. So hey, look at me, I've read him before. Yeah, this is one that I'm just kind of knocking off of the to-read list. I have a very extensive to-read list because I have been collecting book recommendations from people for like my whole life. So I'm kind of going backwards in time here, which is why these are just old books that everybody kind of already knows about. The next thing on my to-read list is this thing, which I wasn't expecting to be so big. This is called The Most Fun We Ever Had, a novel. Another book I don't know anything about, but it was recommended by a friend. Let's see, let's read what it's about. It says, when Marilyn Connolly and David Sorensen fall in love in the 1970s, they are blithely ignorant of all that's to come. By 2016, their 4 radically different daughters are each in a state of unrest. Wendy, widow young, soothes herself with booze and younger men. Violet, a litigator turned stay-at-home mom, battles anxiety and self-doubt with the darkest part of her past research. Oh my God, there's more. In painting this luminous, which I can't read because it says it's on the back of this and everything's like taped down. In painting this luminous, back flap, that's what they mean. I don't know anything about books, sorry. Hold on, let me try again. In painting this luminous portrait of a family's becoming, Lombardo joins the ranks of writers such as Celeste, I don't know how to say her name, Celeste Ng, Elizabeth Strout, and Jonathan Franzen as visionary chronicles of our modern lives. This sounds like it'll be a modern fiction. Is that what it's called? Contemporary modern? I'm not too sure the genre name. It sounds very loosely like The Vanishing Half in terms of just family drama, but maybe that's kind of what contemporary or modern fiction centers on. I feel like I'm really gonna like this, especially as and someone who has a lot of sisters and we're all fucking intensely different, and I won't get into that, but yeah, I'm very curious to see what that one's about. Those are all the library books that I have physically with me right now. Another couple books that I'll be reading this spring that are actually due to arrive at the library any day now are Hellbent, which is the sequel to Ninth House, which I have really high hopes of because I feel like Ninth House, although it wasn't too captivating, it really built up a world that I know has the potential to be so cool. Leigh Bardugo, you can do it, baby. Please deliver on Hellbent because I have such high hopes for it. I don't have the synopsis. Should I bring it up? I'll pull it up. It says, Galaxy, Alex Stern, is a student at Yale who's determined to break her friend, Darlington, out of purgatory. Alex and Dawes assemble a team of dubious allies to save the gentlemen of Leith, navigating a maze of arcane texts and bizarre artifacts to uncover the society's most closely guarded secrets. I'm so excited. Spoiler alert, vague spoiler, is I was so excited to meet Darlington. I was so excited to meet him. I was like, where is my boy? Give me my boy. And then they were just like, well, maybe we'll get him next book, to be continued. And come on, bitch, don't do that to me. So this is a book I'm actually really, really excited about. It's probably what I'm most excited about on my entire TBR. Fingers crossed on that one. The next one is something that I remember back in like college and high school, people talking about a lot, and that is Mark Z. Danielowski's House of Leaves. I don't know much about this. I know it's huge. It's formatted very strangely, uniquely. I think this is the book that I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, this has just been on my TBR for forever, so I kind of want to just check it out, see what it's about, knock it off my list. Let me also figure out what this is about. Again, I don't know what these books are about. I think that's also very fun because it kind of, you just jump in blind and then you just take what you get and go forth with that, which I find a little fun. So let's see. The House of Leaves synopsis details a story about a young man who finds a manuscript about a family's documentary, the Navidson record, which details their experience with a strange house. The young man becomes all encompassed with the text and story, which alters the course of his own life. Okay, I am remembering correctly because I do remember weird format, something about a weird house. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I have heard a lot of mixed things about this book. I've heard that it's just stupid and pretentious and annoying, and then I've heard that it's really fascinating and just a fun read. We'll see which camp I end up falling into, but as a known hater, I'm nervous I might not like it, but I want to like it. I want to like all these books, so I am excited. 2 more books that I am hoping will arrive sometime within the next few weeks that I have on hold at the library are Little Women. Never read Little Women. We're going to be reading that for Bella's book club, which again, if you don't know, I host a podcast called 3 Books, 1 Plot, and it is actually a Twilight podcast hosted by me and my best friend G, and we have a fun book club that we do with it where we kind of go in and look for Bella's favorite books, or really just books mentioned by characters in the Twilight Saga. And we kind of just do a book club on it, just to be like, okay, why was this book mentioned? Stephenie Meyer, why? Just why? So what we found so far is that most of it is just books that she really liked, which, like, I mean, as long as they're fun to read, I don't care, like, I'll read it. But God, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Sense and Sensibility were 2 books we had to read for Bella's book club, and I want that time in my life back. But yeah, I'm really excited about Little Women because everybody seems to love Little Women. They redo that movie every fucking decade. I feel like I'm missing out on something not having read it. I do know in the book or the play or the movie or whatever it is that some girl dies at some point. One of the sissies, one of those Little Women bites the dust, which is sad. I'm sure that works really well for the character development of all the other Little Women, but we'll see. I actually don't know. I would think I would know more about this, but hey. All right. With their father fighting in the American Civil War, sisters Jo, Meg, Amy, and Beth are at home with their mother, a very outspoken woman for her time. The story tells of how the sisters grow up, find love, and find their place in the world. 4 sisters and their mother at home. Their father is fighting in the war. I don't know why it repeated itself. Maybe this wasn't a real synopsis. Anyway, that gives me a decent idea of what it's about. I am seeing so many patterns with these books with female protagonists written by women where they have like a quirky loud mom. Is that a trope? I feel like that's a trope because I've been noticing a pattern with the few books that I've looked at and read and added to my TBR, because this is strange to me. And the last book that I'm waiting on currently at the library is actually Verity by Colleen Hoover. And I know Colleen Hoover is a very polarizing presence in the book community, or so I have been told. I have been told by friends very close to me that I shouldn't read any of her stuff because it's bad. I have been told by friends that aren't very close to me that, I mean, she's good and she's fun and wow, everything's dramatic and crazy and you're gonna have a good time. I have a feeling which camp I'll probably end up falling under, but if it's anything like The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I didn't find good objectively, but I found myself enjoying, then I'll be okay with that. I will be totally fine. I do also hear that Verity is her most popular book, and I only really know that it's about a woman who's a writer and some lady's husband, and she has to finish a book. Let me, again, find the synopsis. Don't you love listening to someone who doesn't understand what these books are about try to explain what these books are about? Verity focuses on the life of Lowen Ashley, a young writer living in New York City, struggling for money and not really living the life she envisioned. One day, she bumps into a man who will change her life forever in more ways than one. And I do know that this has to do with her finishing, I guess, a book of his wife's late wife, institutionalized wife. I'm not sure. I just know that the wife is kind of out of the picture, I think. Or at least she's supposed to be. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, I know everybody has opinions on Colleen Hoover because boy, have I seen those opinions on Colleen Hoover. But that's everything that's on my hold list currently at the library, and a few other books that are on my Goodreads to-read lists that have been there for at least a few years are, and I'm just gonna list the book title and the author and how it was recommended to me, if I can remember, and just go from there. We first have A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum. We have Where the Forest Meets the Stars by Glendy Vanderah. We have George Orwell's 1984. I read half of this in high school, never finished it. I kind of know what it's about, but I would like to say that I've actually read it because I did so many homework assignments on this book without knowing what was going on. It's a miracle I got out of high school. And then I would like to read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath because that just seems like the sad girl Bible that every bitch has read before. So I have read some stuff by Sylvia Plath before, which I enjoyed. So I want to just knock this book out and see if it is as amazing in my opinion as it is to all the other sad girls that I know. And one book that I would love to get to, and if I don't get to it, I'll be okay, is actually Perfume, The Story of a Murderer, which is a book that I did find in a little library recently. And I talk more about the books that I have up here on the video that comes out either the next Sunday, like a week from now, or 2 Sundays from now. So you'll find out more all about that. But this is a book by, again, Patrick Suskind. I'm not too sure how to say his name. And I'm just gonna go ahead and read the back because I have this physical copy here. In the slums of 18th century Paris, a baby is born and abandoned, passed over to monks as a charity case. But the monks can find no. Perfume is a hauntingly powerful tale of unnatural passion and sensual depravity. My best friend G recommended me this book a few years back, and she said it kicked ass. So I'm excited to hopefully get to this if I can in the spring, but if not, that'll be okay. When it comes to the other 2 books that I just listed, A Woman Is No Man and Where the Forest Meets the Stars, I don't quite remember who recommended me these books. It could have been a friend, or it could just be that I saw it recommended a lot online, but these have been on my to-read list for years now, so I can't really remember. The reason that I don't have many more books on my to-read list that I would really like to get done over the next few months is because in April I will be participating in NaNo National Novel Writing Month's Camp NaNo. I don't know how to actually say that. NaNoWriMo? I'm gonna say NaNoWriMo, or I'm just gonna say Nano. You probably know what it is if you're a writer to any extent and you are very online. NaNo is something that happens every year in November, and that is when you are supposed to sit down and write a novel, or 50,000 words of a novel, or a 50,000 word novel through the month of November. And they really start prepping you all year long just to keep you writing and keep you in the headspace and give you tips and tricks and give you resources to make writing easier and more doable in the everyday. I think in November, what the word count is that's recommended per day is like 1,700 words. And they're like, listen, a little bit every day gets you 50,000 words in a month. They do host 2 Camp Nanos every year. They host one in April and they host one in July. I've never participated in the April one before, but last year I did July, and I also did the full one in November. I was able to do, I think, 30,000 words in July, and then I was able to do 70,000 words in November, which was really exciting. Of course, I strictly write fan fiction currently, but it is something that I'm starting to take a little more seriously to try to work on my actual writing skill more. That way I can kind of just perfect it with what I know. So I'm going to be focusing on writing more in April than reading. If I read a couple books, that'd be great, but I'm not going to be too concerned with it. So that's where most of my focus and energy is going to be. If I do end up with more time to read over the spring, I would like to actually look at some of the books that I already have on my bookshelf and start reading from here. I think I'm just really excited about the novelty of having the library at my hands and knowing how to use it and utilize it for the first time in my life, which is why I'm just kind of going through the lists that I have online and from friends. But I would like to also, you know, focus on the shit that I already have, because that's a lot more flexible. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of everything I'm really planning on reading. If I read more than that, I'd love to film a little wrap up for the spring. I think that would also be fun and a good way to see what I did read and what I thought of the books that I eventually got to. What else do people say in these videos? I don't know. I feel like that's it. I feel like I did an okay job. I feel like this is good and this is fine, and I can kind of probably end it here. So yeah, I'll just end it here. Thanks for watching this video. you seem to also have time today to spare, huh? Thanks for wasting it with me. You can subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but you can if you want to, but you don't have to. I mean, I will be seeing you next Sunday and the Sunday after that, and who knows, maybe even the one after that with more funky little booktube videos or just videos in general, but they'll probably mostly be booktube videos. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go. Bye.